Hey guys, StrainZex here with another video for you today. And today, well, I wasn't really gonna do this kind of video. I was actually supposed to do a video with like Attack on Titan and maybe some Mario Kart Rainbow Road and some other stuff, but I wasn't originally gonna do this kind of video. It's kind of, not really new to me. I mean, I've done videos like this before, but yeah, it's kind of probably new to my newer audience because I never really done these types of videos before, or even my old audience probably rarely see me do these types of videos. But anyways, point is, today I really wanted to just talk about the well, give my opinion and take on how I feel about Bonelab and how I think the game, like in its current state, is, and the potential for it later, or So pretty much, yeah. We are just gonna pretty much just be here in the Mario 64 in all its glory. It's just the castle, not the interior. Sadly, not yet, anyways. Hopefully one day. But yeah, I pretty much just really wanted to, sit down and just talk about all the, the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, and all that type of jazz. So let's go ahead and hop right into that. All right, guys. So I just wanted a bit of a change of scenery here. But yeah, pretty much wanted to talk about the talk of Bone Lab being an upgrade to a lot of people, and a downgrade to some. So pretty much, some people feel as if the game is a complete downgrade. The physics are bad, or somehow worse, or the physics with the swords and melee combat is terrible, and some people see it as a complete upgrade, better overall, and just an improvement over everything. And then there's my opinion, which is I see obviously the opinions of both sides. It's like, yeah, this is great, and then this is bad. Like, I understand the combat is a bit janky, and in my opinion, Stress Level Zero should have had some amount of leeway when it came to the melee combat, because I get they're trying to replicate physics and whatnot, but you know, swinging around a sword. I mean, one-handed swords not that bad. You know, it can be two-handed, but as you can see, swinging around two-handed weapons ain't exactly smooth. And a lot of people immediately jump to Blade and Sorcery doing it better, and in my opinion, yeah, it does it a melee combat a bit better, a lot better at times, but even in Blade and Sorcery, melee with two-handed weapons feels like crap. I'm just saying it. I've been playing that game for years, and two-handed weapons, I hate. I really hate two-handed weapons because they feel like crap when you swing it, because it does pretty much what Bone Lab does and Boneworks does, which is weird, melee. Like, it doesn't feel like you can actually swing a sword. Like, it's kind of just weird. So that's just my take on it. But I see everyone's points and whatnot. But that's just one of the many janks and flaws of really just VR in general. Like a lot of games, Melee's not done well, but a lot of games, it's pretty much the focal point. It's like, wow, combat's really awesome in this game. Well, that's the thing. Bonelab and Boneworks, they're not focused on just doing melee, just doing guns. They're trying to combine both the best worlds, which obviously they do guns way better than they do melee, so it's like, eh. But that's the thing. This is a physics-based game. It's not going to be perfect, but I do have to agree. Stress Level Zero, Brandon could have done a little bit of leeway, with the melee combat, give me a little bit more of flexibility instead of it being super stiff and just overall not that enjoyable to do most of the time, unless you are doing single-handed weapons, which most of the time do work, but it still feels pretty bad. Unless, of course, you have, like, for example, a super strength mod, which makes dual wield handling any weapon 100 times better. It's not perfect still, but it's definitely better because you swing it around like it feels like you're actually being able to swing a weapon around, instead of the weird jankiness of like going through enemies and whatnot, or completely missing your enemy, flying over their head, or the weapon just colliding and not doing anything, or a bunch of other different you know things. But yeah, so the other thing I really wanted to talk about is pretty much this game for most people is a love it or you hate it. And for me, I'm in the it's for me when it dropped, I was super hyped just like everyone else. I was excited. It was awesome. I played through the whole campaign in three different one video and then two little separate live streams. I beat it within 7 hours or so, not within, but actually like 7 hours and something amount of minutes. But that's because I died by accident, like I think 2 to 3 times, and I was also looking for most of the secrets. But for me, yeah, I was I have to say I was definitely on the hype side, but I definitely really do enjoy this game for what it is, which at the moment, since their focus seems to not really have been on making more improvements overall to what Boneworks was, like not adding on to that mostly, but just adding new, cool, different ideas, but not too many to make this like the ultimate wow VR game, the next thing to blow our minds. Like this being able to switch quickly to other avatars, just like that, and then just be able to switch back super quickly. Phenomenal. Yes, a lot of games, flat games have done this before. Yes, it's not new technology, but this is being done in VR. Like, just look how well this game performs compared to Boneworks, which is another thing. Is this game a downgrade? To me, no. A lot of people say it's a downgrade because the physics feel worse, the gunplay feels worse, the melee feels worse. Some people say it's better, some people say it's worse. I say it feels exactly the same. Honestly, it feels exactly the same as Boneworks did. So it's neither an upgrade really, or well, I mean, it's an upgrade to certain things, certain new features and mechanics, but down to the core of it, it's only thing that's really upgraded is the graphics, the ability to change it to any avatar, quality of life features such as instead of separating the levels and whatnot, getting like all these different other menus. Like there's more menus now and whatnot. There's even a menu for your avatars just in case you can't reach your arm, which I appreciate. I appreciate that. Obviously, there's again, like I was saying, level menus. You can now choose the modded levels inside the scenes instead of having to go all the way to the Bone Lab hub, and then come all the way, pick your level at the arcade. You can now just boop, pick up a machine, boop, put that's just a machine. Point at the menu, go scour through whatever you want, and click wherever you want to go. And I have to say, I really, really like that. Quality of life improvements, overall, the performance, like I said, 1,000 times better. than what Boneworks could ever do or ever did. I mean, yes, there were a couple big levels, but they lacked a high heaven, especially with a lot of mods on top of it. So, but like even at base, when you just did one big level, the game would just flat out lag. Compared to this game, where I don't even get black bars when I'm looking anymore. Like that's mind blowing. Like compared to most VR games, that's not really possible. Not saying they're not completely absent because they aren't completely absent. Like when you're loading in and everything's loading at once, yes, you'll get a black bar if you move your head at Mach speed because the game's still trying to load everything in at once. So they're still there, but it's not prevalent when you're playing in the level that's already loaded compared to other VR games and or Boneworks. Because in those games and Boneworks, Blade of Sorcery, every time you move your head, you're lagging. So to say this is the achievement is an understatement because in most games, like I said, there'll be black bars on the side of your head when you're turning, and of course that goes through the recording as well, and people can see it. Unless, of course, you edit it out or make the screen a little bit wider than the black bars reach. But that's not really an important topic. Anyways, moving on to the very next thing. Unless wait, was I finished talking about the upgrades or downgrades? No, I wasn't. Sorry. Anyways, to me, the game isn't a complete upgrade or a complete downgrade. So because it just, to me, it feels exactly the same. Not better, not completely better, but not completely worse per se. Like it does. There are some things that feel great, like being able to hold your well, not with this, but if I had a gun, being able to hold it out and look around with it, it definitely feels more responsive. Definitely feels a lot better than what Boneworks had. But of course, there's still a lot of jank because it's a physics engine, and you can't buff out everything and patch literally everything to work perfectly. There's no such thing as perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, right? So, yes, they get definitely worked on it a lot more, definitely done a lot more things to improve upon it. But we'll see. This game is still technically in a beta, apparently. So, we paid for, a beta. But it's a beta that hopefully Stressful Zero and the whole team is going to be working on with the community. As I said, they're going to work with the community, listen to our feedback, improve this, maybe add this. It depends on what they're feeling and what we're all talking about and doing. But yeah, the very next thing I really want to talk about is pretty much the death of the campaign and the fact that they didn't really do much else. Like, yes, they added like maybe what one or two new variants of enemies. Not really variants, but two like I think two new enemies, maybe three. Well, for one, they finally, for the love of God, added the turrets into the campaign because for some reason the turrets were absent, even though you can spawn them in sandbox mode in Boneworks. Don't know what that was about. There was also that weird Omni Ball, also didn't make a return. Okay. But yeah, they added the skeleton, they added the turrets in. Pretty sure there's one more enemy. If there's not, oh well, it's whatever. But a lot of people said there's not a lot of depth, not a lot of new content or anything, which I don't fully agree with, but I do partially agree with because of the fact that, well, there's not any really new enemies besides the skeletons, and you can't even really count the turrets because they were in Bone Works, but they weren't in the campaign. So I mean, technically, there were some just station static, not really static turrets, but turrets that were just sitting, the block turrets. I'm talking about the Omni turrets; those were absent from Boneworks, and now they're added in. And there's two different variants. There's the Fireball Mage one, and then there's the regular Omni Projector one that's shoots bullets. So there's that. But the other thing is, I do agree that they should have definitely done more with the variety of enemies. Like they should have definitely with the new awesome system. They should have definitely added in different enemies that were going off of this system. Like they should add it like, for example, your first person you get is a super strong guy, right? So they should have made you the the peasant first at the end of the level, maybe one or two or three super strong guys that can pick up objects and smack you with them, or hit you over the head with a hammer, or punch you and send you flying back a bit. Like that would have been a cool encounter to have to verse super strong guys. Maybe just have one to see like what the AI can do with their newfound strength and whatnot, and seeing how that would go. But yeah, definitely another cool thing would have been to add would be like, for example, when you switch to the big tank guy. When you get that avatar, it should have had something similar, like a big beefed up tank guy that takes a lot of shots, like picking up like objects in the environment, just chucking them at you like we do, and just throwing them at you. Even like maybe even add some comedy and some funny moments in like having them like if there's no object close by but there's an enemy and they're smaller and you can just pick them up and then he chucks them at you. Like that would have been a cool encounter to have. And of course you definitely sprinkle those throughout the campaign. Like maybe now during a bigger level there's two of them and they're both on different sides and they're all coming at you while a group of smaller enemies are running at you. But yeah, another enemy type I would love to see was more gun wielding enemies that actually carry your type of weapons you use. For example, the Glock, the shotgun, the assault rifles, all that jazz. They should have made AI that can do that. I mean, they already have. They're Omni projector guys, the hazmat guys. So it's possible already. So why didn't they just literally take those guys, add in instead of Omni will add in literal just regular walking AI, and just give them the ability to hold the guns and shoot them at us. Like for example, it would have been awesome. Well, maybe not awesome, but definitely a different encounter if you had like, I don't know, say for example, two snipers, one over there and one over there, and a very small amount of cover you can hide behind, and you have to avoid all of them, and you have to take them out either with a long range weapon, or even cooler, you could have got like the super tall guy, for example, and like you rush them and you reach up and grab them and then smash them into the ground. You know, like that would have been a cool, unique way to take them out. Or you could turn into the tank and tank all the shots as you make your way up, or even try to do something dumb like, oh, let me try to take them out with a physics object and eat it. Just eat it at them. Now, of course, with these different enemy types, there would be, they would have lower HP, so hitting them hard enough, maybe one or two hits, would kill them. And for the stronger guys, of course, their HP would be bigger, just like ours is. Which brings me to the next point. It would have been cool to fight literally a giant as, I don't know, some mythological beings such as like Star Killer. How he fights the Rancors and such. I mean, I know that's a big ass, but come on, it would have been cool to be able to climb up on top of a giant and stab him in the back of the head, or shoot him back in the head with dual-wield machine guns or assault rifles or whatever, and then take them down. But maybe in the future, maybe modders will be able to do all this. Please, I know, it's a lot to ask, and with the physics engine, it may not. Well, I think it's possible. It's just gonna be very difficult to code in. But hey, just saying. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things they could have done and should have done. Like they should have added enemies that can drive the go karts. They definitely should have added more vehicle variety. Like I don't know why they took out the hover junker. I would have loved this to see that in the new engine, not the new engine, but the updated new game Bonelab. I would have loved to see how that would have worked out with a brand new control scheme instead of the weird stick stuff that was going on. But yeah, I would definitely love to see that more. But yeah, let's real quick just have a change of scenery. Hold that thought. Ah, there we are. Hey, welcome to my Sky Island. No, it's not really mine. I didn't make this, but I have to say, it's very impressive. I really like this. Like, they got moving clouds in the background, they got a whale, they got like built in light sources, which is pretty cool. Look at that. They even got moving grass, crops. You get the point. They have objects in here. There's just a lot of cool non dynamic objects with cool things in them. Like, I can't wait to see more stuff like this. Like, look at this. Look at all that in there. There's an actual window here that you can't break. Hopefully, we'll be able to have some breakable windows and more dynamic physical objects. Like, look at this. You have these cool little bottles wiggling and whatnot. You have some type of glowing crystal. It's so cool. There's a gun. But anyways, let's get back to the point of this video. Enough of me getting distracted by these cool, fun little maps. But yeah, they definitely could have added way more to the variety of enemies and content. I don't know why they took out half the guns. I mean, I know they added a bunch of guns like the Vector and the AK and stuff, but I kind of like the variety and variance of all the weapons we got, like the blue MP5, yellow MP5, and I mean, sure, there were just mostly color changes and some attachments, but hey, it was still fun to use them. Still fun to have variety and changes. But obviously, modders will bring that back. But the next big thing we really want to talk about is the on the rails section. A lot of people seem to be complaining about that. Like, honestly, I don't understand. I always find on the rail sections to be a little bit of enjoyment. Like, it gives you a break from all the just running to cover, shooting enemy, ducking cover, reload, all that jazz. It's cool, fun. Sorry for any background noise, but it's a cool little break from just that type of stuff where you can just literally just look left and right and gun down everything you see and just have a blast with the spectacle. But for me, the on the rail section, I'm talking about the minecart section where you get first introduced to pretty much, how the pretty much a demonstration on how the go kart is gonna feel like, except you're on rails. But the big takeaway for me, compared to a lot of people, people say it was awesome, people say it's bad, it's on the rail section or whatever. To me, my takeaway is this shows off the absolute, like, how much performance boost and, like, trying to think of the word. Pretty much just shows the scope and kind of like the scale of like how much you can do with Bonelab is pretty much what I think they were going for. I could be completely wrong. They could come out and just, come on my channel and tell me I'm completely wrong, I'm dead wrong, and all that stuff. But till then, I'm gonna stick with this. They pretty much were just they put that there to show the absolute potential and scale of the game and how much the modders and the community can do with this, and maybe even what they could do with it later, because they could add more campaign levels, like DLC levels and all that jazz. Like, they just make, because they're obviously going to make DLC later on, they're going to add more levels, more ideas, more concepts and whatnot for us all to play, which is going to be obviously very fun. Hopefully they take some of these ideas and feedback into account and make some new variety of enemies, like maybe some tall giants we have to fight with, like, I don't know, some type of catapult. We just load up with, like, we get the big guy load rocks onto it and we smash a button and the catapult goes, launches and hits them in the head and they go tumbling down and all that stuff. Or maybe even add in like Titanfall mechs that we can actually climb in and pilot. Instead of I think there's like two main good ways that this can be done and implemented. It's like, first you can have, I mean, one of the ways it's already done kind of is like, the avatar. People already made the BT avatar, so that's one of the ways you can do it. But one, I think a more in-depth way of doing it would be, how you see it in the original Typhoon game, where you call down the mech, it comes out from the sky, it lands, you run up to it, you climb in, and then hatch closes and you take control. Now, one way you can do I'm mostly talking about like the control scheme, is Once you hop in, you just pretty much become the mech, and it's like pretty much has the avatar controls. Or you can do more. I think they should do a two-way of this. Not two-way of this, but like two version of this is the one I just explained. But the other way is you do manual control where you actually have to take like control sticks and whatnot, and you can like see on screen like right now this mirror, but imagine you're seeing like what's out there instead of a reflective mirror. So it's an actual cockpit, and you actually roam around and whatnot. Maybe it doesn't have to be control sticks. Maybe it's like little orbs you just grab, or some type of control panel you grab, and then you move around and stuff, and you shoot with certain buttons and whatnot. And to get out of the Mac, you just ungrab, and then you hit the exit button or whatever, and then you climb right back out and get right back to shooting on the ground. Like, just cool little mechanics that could be added in later. Who knows? Maybe modders would do it. Just take it with a grain of salt. We may never get this stuff. May just be talking into the void. But yeah, definitely. That's my take on the on the rail section. I always did my on the rail section. I get people's opinions and points on it. It's on the rails. It's some people just find it boring and just dumb. For me, it's like, yeah, it's a spectacle, but it's just all in good fun. It's a good way to break up the constant running to cover and whatnot, and just the tediousness of running from one area to another. You can just climb into a vehicle, pick and whatnot, and drive, or someone's driving for you. But another part of this, which is I find amazing, is yes, the turret. It's janky. We get it. We know. Yes, the turret is janky. But here's the thing you missed. It's a turret. That wasn't in Boneworks. Yes, it's super janky, but I'm pretty sure with modders and with, you know, Stress Zero updating the game and whatnot, they're gonna probably obviously refine it to be better controllable, hopefully. Just like I hope they refine the melee combat, have some leeway with it, because swinging weapons in this game, again, not fun, not that fun, not the best. I mean, it can be fun at times when you actually can kill the enemy and it feels like you're swinging a weapon, but most of the time it's not fun. But anyways, they added a turret that we can control, which I find very cool. I find that to be a really fun, cool thing, because people can now add turret types to the back of vehicles or into a turret section or whatever on their own maps. Like, imagine getting into the Warhawk. Oh, what's that? We now have the Warhawk chain gun. But instead of it being, a bit janky, hopefully modders make it to where it's like it feels fluid and, moves around smoothly and whatnot. But, we'll see. We'll see. So I think the final thing I really wanted to talk about is my biggest concern for the future of Bonelab is Stress Level Zero pulling what I like to call a Half-Life Alex. And what I mean with this is, when it came to workshop and the modding, because let's face it, this game is gonna be basically just Gmod, and most of the content is going to be coming from the modding, the community itself. So pretty much that's what Bonelab focus is on right now. So my biggest, like I was saying, concern is they pull a Half-Life Alex, or just call it a Valve, and they decide to half-ass it, as I call it, and just give us half of the tools and half of the things we need. For example, yes, in Half-Life Alex, we can make cool maps. We can make cool things to happen and whatnot. Some people made freaking space maps. Some people made actual functional cars. But they weren't really that great. I mean, they were good for what they were, but people had to literally make that stuff with duct tape at this point. They combine it in such weird, ways and whatnot. So pretty much, also we didn't get much gun variety, which was definitely a huge disappointment to me, because I really want to have a lot of guns. It's kind of the reason why I fell off doing Half-Life Alex videos, because there wasn't enough content. Like at first, there were guns. There was the Glock. There was the MP7. There was the crossbow. There was the gravity gun gloves that were amped up, I guess. I mean, there's no other way to put it except someone literally made the gravity gloves into the gravity gun, and you can now just pick up objects and shoot them at the enemy, which was pretty fun. But after that, and there was also an AUG and I forget what it's called, like a Russian, I think it started with a B. It was a Russian bullpup AK type. I forget the name of it. But yeah, there was also the tall gun, TAU, from Half-Life 1, which, neat little mod to be made. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, people had a, like, what's the word? They had a pretty much Dead Rising to it, or Dead Rising 3. Pretty much get this gun, add a bunch of things, slap this onto it, wrap it in duct tape, and call it a day. They had to really, really break the engine and the tools to get those guns to function as their counterparts, and their real life counterparts or even fictional counterparts, and they didn't work that well. There would be glitches to where the magazine was rotating around, to where the magazine would just clip to the gun, or just something broke, and it's very disappointing. Sorry if I keep adjusting my headset. It's trying to make sure it doesn't fall off my face. I have this thing on tight, but not tight enough apparently. But when I tighten it more, it just hurts my face. So, anyways, but yeah, biggest thing is I don't want Bonelab or Stress Level Zero to fall down the same path. I want them to pretty much deliver in, which I'm pretty sure they already have, or at least are going to deliver, the modding support fully. Obviously, they're already doing a great job with the ability for us to add in avatars already, and even create these amazing levels. And hopefully, much more is to come with like possible scripting. Obviously, we're gonna get more weapon variety, because I mean, again, like I was saying, the biggest downfall for Half-Life Alex is the fact that there isn't enough content. By that I don't mean like there's not enough levels. Like, the levels are amazing. There was Halo, there was Star Wars, but it always felt short because people can't do much with it. Like, yeah, we can create bigger and bigger levels with more crazy puzzles and stuff to do, but it's not fun when only half the stuff is there. You know what I'm saying? Because there wasn't enough gun variety, enough weapon variety, and there definitely wasn't enough enemy variety. So that brings us back to Bonelab. One, stress loader, we're going to need more enemy types, or at least give us the ability to create enemies, like being able to add in avatars with different abilities and whatnot. Not really avatars, but NPCs. I mean, giant ones, small ones, and all that jazz. Two, scripting. That has to be a thing. You have to add in, if it's not already added in, the ability to script in Bonelab with the tools of one, be able to script events, script segments, whatever, add in AI, add in gun functions, add in, just be able to go wild and rip open the Bonelab engine and just go crazy. Just let people have fun with it. Another thing, obviously, is being able to add in more weapons. Like I said, that's probably a definite, because it was already possible in Boneworks. Like, even without Stress Zero's, you know, approval of, like, yeah, we're gonna add modding for guns and such. Literally, the community would do it themselves with Melon Loader, because it's like Melon Loader is already available. Apparently, I already checked the Thunder store; it's already up and running. People just need to start making stuff now, so that's cool. But that's the thing; I don't want to rely solely on the community has to do it. I want stress level zero. The people who made the game, the people who is gonna be, that said they're gonna be, doing updates and working with the community to build this game up even more than it already is. So hopefully they get that done. And if not, well, I guess it's just gonna be left to the community again, because that's like the sole reason again why Half of Alex and Boneworks kind of just died off until recently, because there wasn't enough content and wasn't enough flexibility to be able to make new content. Like it, like we already have more levels in Bone Lab than we do in Boneworks, where we have more levels we can actually like go into and do stuff in. Like, yeah, and there's already more levels that have like enemies in them. I accidentally came across two levels with enemies. Again, sorry for any background noise. I can't control that, and it's like really annoying. But yeah, I mean that just speaks volumes to me, guys, because just Bone Lab having more flexibility, just being to me, is a huge improvement over Boneworks in every way. Again, to me, the physics feels the same, the combat feels exactly the same. There wasn't any big, huge improvements, but there wasn't any, downgrades to me. Like everything feels the same, just it's Boneworks with a coat of paint and some new features. And that is a takeaway from this video, really. Just, enjoy it for what it is. It's literally Boneworks with better graphics, better performance, and overall, just everything is better. I think most of the negativity is coming from people who, I don't know, I guess just really like the mods and Boneworks and felt this fell short because it didn't live up to their expectations to be the next mind blowing thing in VR. I mean, I get it. There's not a lot. They didn't do too much. They didn't reinvent the wheel. But I don't think that's what they were ever gonna go for. I don't think they were gonna go for the ultimate game-changing VR experience. Like, don't get me wrong, this is amazing. I love everything that they have done, and I do wish they have done more. But for what this is, it's definitely huge improvement over a few things, and most of the rest of the stuff is mildly the same. But yeah, you all go ahead and comment down what you all think below. Comment if I'm talking on my ass, or if you agree with me, or if you have, some different opinions, or if you agree or kind of disagree, or you're both. Who knows? Just comment down below what you all think, and what you would like to possibly see in the future of types of videos I make, and possibly see in the future type of content that the community posts and whatnot. Hopefully, we get some huge new improvements and features and stuff. Hope we get scripting. Definitely hope modding becomes like big, because it has to be on like. Here's actually one more point I'd like to make. For this game to succeed now, because the hype is gone, the hype is done, it's dead. Not really dead, but the hype came and gone. Like people are, they're here, they got the game, they're playing with it, they're messing with it, they're having fun. Some people are disappointed, some people moved on, whatever. But the people who are staying, enjoy the game for what it is. You know, enjoy the better performance, enjoy the awesome custom avatars we can now make and have fun with. Enjoy the fact that modding is going to be a big part of the game. But for this game to succeed fully, stress level 0, you have to deliver. Give us all the modding tools. Don't half-ass it. Give us everything: scripting, AI, vehicles, guns, everything, or this game's gonna fall flat on its face, even more so than it already kind of did for some people. Because right now on Steam, it's at mostly positive. I mean, I've seen a lot more positive than negative, but it's at mostly positive, which isn't a good luck. But definitely make sure the modding is great. Make it to be at, if not at Gmod standards, close to it, if not above it. All right. Because if it's not, this game's gonna just eventually die off and just become a small stepping stone in VR. And I really don't want that. I really want this to be a successful game. I really do want this to be the next, pretty much, Gary's Mod 2 in VR before Gary's Mod 2, or aka Sandbox, finally becomes available. Like, I hope this game holds me over and many other people over until either our next big VR game comes out or Sandbox drops and everybody can play. Like right now, I can play Sandbox because I got a key. Just saying, I can go ahead and play Sandbox. It's not perfect. It's not all there, but hey, I can go and hop in and play it at any time as long as I don't stay away for 2 months. I should be able to hop back in. Yeah, but further ado, that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Again, comment down below what you all think. This was definitely a hot take and a half. I know I'm going to see a lot of people disagreeing with me, but hey, it is what it is. We all have our own opinions on the likes, dislikes, and thoughts on games like this. Because compared to other games, this is actually good. Because, one, it came out functional. It came out, I'll say finished, because everything's here. The levels they want to do, the maps they want to do, the gunplay. It's a fully, okay, maybe not, I'll say it's a fully finished game. Just because it's an entire game that you bought, it's here. Your game doesn't explode, it doesn't crash, it doesn't just die. Features work, so everything is here. It's a fully functional, good game. Sure, it's not reinventing the wheel, but hey, we can only look forward to the future, and hopefully y'all stick around with my channel. And without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. Did leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz. As always, remember to take a step back and enjoy life, guys. All right, peace.